Good day, everyone. Um, in this video, we will study the first part of our analysis and design for tension members using ASD and LRFD. And before we proceed, let's define first what is tension. Well, tension is the state of being stretched tight. Also, tension is described as the pulling force transmitted actually by means of a string, a rope, a chain, or similar objects, or by each end of a rod, a truss member, or similar three-dimensional objects. Also, ang tension natin is described as the action-reaction pair of forces acting at each end of the said elements. And one example or phenomena where we can see our tension acting on a member is while we are playing or tug of war. Um, while the players pull the rope experience a tensile force as well as the tensile stress natin. And due to that force, our rope is being stretched tight. But in civil engineering structures, we can see our tension acting on the elements sa ating truss bridge. Here in our truss bridge, um, merong kulay the red ones represent the element is under tension while the green ones represents that the element is subjected to a compressive force. And how do we compute for this internal forces that acting on our structures? We can apply our knowledge from statics of rigid bodies and the analysis of our truss structures. Bali, in the analysis of truss structures, we can use the method of joints or the method of sections. And if we will be using method of joints, um, we will study or make a free body diagram of each of the joints that we need to get or obtain its internal forces. Whereas if we will be using our method of section, we will divide or cut a section in our truss structures in order to compute for its internal forces. Also, we can apply our method of frames if we will if we have a frame structures, the method of members rather. And aside from the truss structures, we can also see our um, tension members sa ating cable supported na roof like this. Bali, we have this roof and we have a cable supporting that, and also sa mga roof trusses natin. At pwede rin natin makita yan sa bigger structures natin such as yung towers natin. And here is a part of a tower where these members are subjected to tension. And even though the members is subjected to tension, we can see that this vault is also experiencing a tension. And with that, this member can fail if the bolt fails in tension. However, if we will look in this side, we can also see that this bolt experience a shear stress. Since the force acts sa or parallel sa cross-sectional area of the bolts. And with that, um, structural elements natin subjected to tensile force might also fail due to shear. And since today we'll just be studying analysis of tension members, the let's proceed on the discussion of our axial forces. Bali, we have two axial forces, the compressive stress, and if we will be talking about compressive stress, the force acts towards sa members natin to be analyzed sa cross-sectional. While ang primary purpose nito discussion natin is for a pulling force or itong tension natin. And from the strength of materials, we can recall that the formula for um, stresses or simple stress natin is just S equals P over area, where P is the applied force and our A is the cross-sectional area normal to that load. Bali, this is the effective cross-sectional area natin. And why do we say that this must be the effective cross-sectional area? Since we have two types of cross-sectional area. The first one is our gross cross-sectional area, while the second one is our net cross-sectional area. Since we will be connecting our members to a gusset plate, where this will hold our structures, this gusset plate. Um, in connecting that, we will be required to make a hole, so that we can install our bolts. Unless na lang if we will connect this to piece of metals using weld. But if we will be connecting this using a bolt or a rivet, we will be required to make a hole. And that hole reduces the areas that will be subjected to our tensile force. And we can see that for the gross area, this one, the gross area is just the product of the thickness and the width. While if we will be talking about the net area, we will reduce or subtract this whole area from our uh, gross area. And why do we need to subtract those? Because this area, the shaded area, is the only area that will resist the force uh, due to our tension. Also, stated here that the stress in the torsion member is uniform throughout the cross section. And if we will analyze near the point of application of loads, the stress there is not uniform, as well as here at the cross section with holes for bolts or other discontinuities. Since the stress in these sections are not uniform, we will apply a certain factors to counteract this effect. That's why we will be introducing a factor which is factor U called the shear log factor later on to counteract the effect of ununiform stresses at these 2 points. I hope that's clear now. And here, since we have two areas to be considered, there will also be a two limit states for our tension member. And the first one is the excessive deformation, and this occurs due to yielding, and that is under the gross section natin or the gross area along the length of the members. While the second limit state is the fracture. Fracture of the net section can occur if the stress at the next section reaches the ultimate stress Fu. Bali, Fu is our ultimate stress or the tensile stress of our metal. However, here, since our excessive deformation occurs due to yielding, the stress that we will be using is the yield stress natin. And if we will go back to this equation, or let's manipulate this equation first, and since we will be computing for the required strength natin, eh, let's transform it into this form. Pn equals the stress times area. And considering these two limit state, let's have the excessive deformation. Let's change our color. Considering our excessive deformation, it's stated there that the Pn natin is based on the yield stress. Therefore, this is stress will be our yield stress, and that acts on our gross section or AG. Whereas here in fracture, our required strength is Pn, and that's due to our ultimate stress, Fu, and that acts on the next section natin, An. Uh, but later on, we will have a new formula, no? That's for fracture. That's Pn equals Fu times Ae. Bali, what's the difference with N and AA? Bali, sa AE, itinake into account na natin yung ununiform stresses natin at these 2 points. Sa point of application of loads and at the cross sections of with holes for bolts and other discontinuities. And with this knowledge, let's check sa ating NSCP kung ano ba tong dalawa nating limit states. Bali, in our NSCP, we will be computing for the required tensile strength. And that required tensile strength natin or the nominal tensile strength, we'll use yung dalawa nating limit state. And dito, yung limit state natin about the excessive deformation ay tatawagin lang natin na tensile yielding in gross section, and yung ating sa fracture na limit state will become the tensile rupture in the net section. And as said earlier, we can compute for the nominal tensile strength natin using the formula Pn equals Fy times Ag for tensile yielding in gross section, and Pn equals Fu times Ae for the tensile rupture in the net section. Bali, if we will be familiar with the name of the limit state natin, tensile yielding in gross section, we will be reminded of the formula that we will be using. Bali, tensile yielding, therefore, the stress that we will use is the yield stress, and it acts on the gross section. Therefore, the area that we will be using is the gross area. And that is our formula for RPN. While for the second limit state natin for the fracture, it is also called the tensile rupture. Since that is tensile rupture, the stress that we'll be using is our rupture strength or yung ultimate strength natin, Fu. And since it acts on the net section, we will be using our effective net area, which is AE. Bali, AE is different sa ating AN, Bali, si AE kasi ay equal sa U natin multiplied by AN. And si AN at si AU ay madidiscuss natin later on. At with these two nominal tensile strength natin, we can get the design strength and yung allowable strength natin. Bali, recall natin na pag sinabi nating design strength, we are talking about LRFD. While kapag sinabi naman natin na si allowable strength, ang pinag-uusapan natin dyan ay si ASD. And sabi no nakaraan, bali to compute for our design strength and allowable strength, we must apply yung ating factors of safety and our resistance factor. Kaya stated here, para ma-compute natin si required design strength natin using LRFD, dapat si computed PN natin will be multiplied by our resistance factor na 0.90. Bali, bakit natin na-multiply ng resistance factor? Then dito pala muna, before we proceed. Bali, si PN natin using the ASD will become Pn divided by 1.67. At bakit natin nagmumultiply pa tayo ng resistance factor at nagdi-divide ng ating factor of safety? Dahil hindi natin sure kung si area gross natin will act effectively. Bali, possible na there are deformities dun sa ating materials, different density, that will yield to an effective resistance sa ating force applied. Bali, here in our LRFD, ni-reduce natin si nominal strength by 10%. Ano? Kaya ang naging effective lang the nominal tensile strength natin is the 90%. While dito naman, in order to have a factor of safety, mas safe tayo, di-divide natin by um, 1.67. Si ating um, PN. At sa books, may makikita tayo minsan na si ASD natin is written as, saglit lang 0.60 times PN. Ano? Bali, ang nangyari lang naman, binaligtad, ano? Ginawa niyang nasa denominator itong si 1.67 natin. Pero, for me kasi, ito yung practice sa 2001. At ito yung nagamit namin before, itong derived formula for the allowable strength design natin, stress design. Pero mas nakakalito ano kasi meron tayong factor na 0.6 whereas dapat ay si 1.67 yung gagamitin natin. At here in our discussions, we'll be using lang itong PN natin times 0.90 and PN divided by 1.67. Hindi na natin ilalagay ito, itataas pa as 0.6 itong ating 1.67. Hindi ni sa kabila, that will become magiging 2 kasi yan, 0.5 dito. Yan. Instead na ganyan, dito ay dapat siya ay PN divided by 2.0. Ang nasulat nila yan as 0.5 PN. At mas nakakalito pa yun na dahil ang values dapat natin for the resistance factor is less than 1. At nakakita tayo ng ta's sa ASD natin, yung ating factor of safety is greater than 1. At nakakita tayo ng ganitong multiplier or factor na 0.5. Baka maisip natin na ito ay sa ating LRFD which is hindi naman dahil ito ay itinaas lang or dinerive na natin para mas maganda daw tingnan. Pero for me kasi, mas maganda kung we will stick in this convention na stated sa ating um, NSCP. Especially na para pag nakalimutan natin yung isang value, di agamitin lang natin si relationship na si PN times our resistance, resistance factor natin times the factor of safety ay equals sa 1.5 lamang, para mas madali at hindi tayo malilito on our later computations. Then here sa ating rupture strength, the value of a resistance factor for tension rupture is 0.75 and the factor of safety natin for tensile rupture is 2.0. And please make sure na masaulo natin to dahil this one will not be given sa mga problems natin dahil this must be memorize talaga at kahit sa board exam, this is seldomly given as a hint. And let's proceed. Bali, aside from these two limit state, we have other limit states. Bali, these two acts on the member itself, but these two ay due to our connections. Bali, we might also encounter the term shield yielding, shear rupture, and si block shear natin. But basically, si block shear is just a combination of these four limit states. And we will include that in our discussion. Also, our members could fail due to the bearing strength. And we can recall from your strength of materials, if we have a bolt here and a load acting um, parallel dun sa cross-section ng bolt, bali, yung with this diameter, magkakaroon tayo ng parang ganitong failure, which this one is called the bearing strength natin. Nauuka yung members natin dahil mas malakas yung resistance ni bolt kumpara sa ating member. Then also, we can experience bolt failure, especially kapag meron tayong lap joint or butt joint. Bali ito, si bolt natin. Then, Pero applied force tayo dito. Applied force diyan. P. At since yung uh, force natin ay parallel sa cross-section ni bolt, this one, this area would fail and that failure is called the bolt failure. At kapag ka dinoble pa natin yan, mayroon pa tayo ditong part, ano, P over 2 and P over 2. Bali, dalawa na yung mag-resist dun sa force natin and this will become a double shear. Na-recall si double shear and si single shear natin. Kanina, single shear lang yung nag-aak and since this one, meron na tayong two cross-sectional area resisting the given force. Therefore, this failure is called our double shear na bolt failure. But for now, we will just focus on these two limit state because 2 plus this block shear na limit state because the other limit state will be discussed under our last topic, which is the design and analysis for connections. And we will stop our discussion here and we will have the next topic, which is the area determination in a separate video. And that's all. Good day everyone, this is the part 2 of our discussion for the analysis and design of the tension members. But before we go to the actual analysis and design, we must first know how to determine the area that we will use in our analysis. Because we have two area, which is the gross area, and the second one is our effective net area. And basically, we will discuss those. Bali, may pangatlo tayong type ng area, which is the net area natin. But that's just, bali yung ating effective area is just a product of the net area and our shear lag factor. And let's start dito sa ating gross area. Gross area or AG of a member is the total cross-sectional area. And let's say we are given a rectangular steel plate at yung gross area niya is just its thickness times its width. Or its gross width. Bali dito sa gross area natin, yung gross width niya, hindi pa natin siya binabawasan nung mga holes na present dun sa sections natin. Bali usually kung meron tayong dito, yan may mahaba tayong angle bar then that's connected sa gusset plates natin. May bolts tayo dito. Si gross area natin is taken here sa section na to. Section CC natin. While yung sa net area ay na consider natin si bolts and we will take this section sa pag-consider ng net area natin. But for the gross area, dito tayo mag-cut at wala tayong kailangang i-subtract na holes in this portion. That's why our formula is just the T times its thickness times its gross width. Whereas, dito sa net area natin, the net area, AN, of a member is the sum of the products of the thickness and the net width of the element. Bali, si net area natin is thickness times the net width natin. And yung net width natin, bali meron tayong 4 cases sa ating net area. At depende yan dun sa ating net width na present sa sections natin. And meron tayo na simple connection. Bali sa simple connection, meron lang tayong section like this one. Bali, pwede siyang single layer. Then, pwede rin tayong mag-double layer. Pwede rin tatlo, but due to the space limitation, hindi minsan tayo pwedeng gumawa ng 3 layer, especially kung napaka-kitid lang ng members na ikakabit natin. And minsan din, hindi rin natin pwedeng damihan ng bolts paparito sa dulo dahil maiksi yung connection natin sa gusset plate. At since meron tayong space limitation, kaya nagkaroon tayo ng connection which is called our staggered holes. Bali, to save space and to compromise para ma-compromise natin at masagot yung need na kailangan halimbawa ay 10 volts ikabit natin, we will install that in a zigzag pattern para mapagkasya lang natin yung number of volts na required without uh, having a small cross-sectional area na mag-resist dun sa ating section. And that's why nagkaroon tayo ng ating staggered hose. Then, meron din tayong tinatawag na staggered hose extending in the flange. At makikita natin yan usually sa angle sections natin, sa I-beam, I-sections, at pati sa mga channel sections natin, which is both web at flanges niya ay connected sa ating structures. Then, meron din tayong HSS welded to a gusset plate, but this one ay weld yung connection natin, and yung mga papag-aralan lang natin ngayon is about sa ating bolted connections. Bali, this third case will be left out and will be discussed possibly sa last topic natin about sa connection involving welds. Bali, let's start muna sa simple case natin or the simple connection. The net area AN of a member is the sum of the products of the thickness and the net width of the element. Bali, yan nga siya. Bali, si AN is just thickness times yung net width natin. At si net width ay makukuha natin by this formula. Gross natin or gross width minus natin yung number of bolt holes na nadaanan natin. But si bolt holes to be considered natin is must be the effective bolt hole natin or the effective bolt hole diameters. Then, for the staggered connection, for a chain of hole extending across in any diagonal or zigzag line, the net width of the part shall be obtained by deducting from the gross width, bali ito rin siya naman AN is just T times WN. Pero, ang kinaibahan niyan, yung pagkuha ng WN natin. Bali, si WN daw natin is, kailangan natin i-deduct yung number, yung sa bolts natin, bolt holes. Bali, gross width subtracted by the diameter, sum of the diameters or slot dimensions, the N times DE. Pwede rin summation siya, since sum yung in-state dito. But considering na same yung bolt hole natin, bolt hole diameters, pwedeng i-multiply na lang natin. Since practice naman ay pare-paras lang yung bolts na ikakabit natin para mas simple yung ating calculation. Then after this one, ito lang inadagdag kailangan natin ma-add ang gauge spaces natin. Bali, add natin si summation of the gauge spaces between sa ating mga bolt holes. That's S squared over 4G. But what is gauge spaces? Bali, ang gauge spaces natin is just the S squared divided by 4G. Wherein CS is the longitudinal center-to-center spacing or tinatawag din natin na pitch. At ito siya, the longitudinal distance between our two bolts. Bali, meron siya tayo dito S1 dito. Bali, between this bolt 1 and bolt 2, yung ating S1, and between bolt 2 and bolt 3 is our S2. Then, CG natin is the traverse center-to-center spacing or tinatawag natin na gauge. And dito naman si gauge 1 natin. This difference in distance in the traverse direction. Bali, bolt 1 to bolt 2, and that distance is si G1 natin. Then, si G2 naman is the reverse center to center distance between our bolt 2 and bolt 3. Bali, there are cases na 0 si S, Bali, 0 si S kapag ka simple connection tayo. Kaya makikita natin na kapag may 0S tayo, di mabalik lang tayo sa case 1 at magiging simple connection na siya. Mawawala lang si summation of S squared over 4G. Pero may cases kasi na nakahalo na meron tayo halimbawa ditong bolt. Bali, may gauge distance tayo dito, gauge space. Pero sa pagitan nitong bolts na to, bolt 1 and bolt 4, 0 si S natin. Kaya wala tayong i-add na S squared over 4G between these two bolts. Or may i-add tayo, kaso 0 lang naman yan. Dahil 0 squared divided by 4G is 0. I hope na naintindihan. Then, aside from that, bali ito kasi nasa plate lang yung kinonsider natin in this connection. But there are cases na nag-extend nga yung ating bolts hanggang doon sa flanges ng ating angle section as well as sa channel section natin and sa eye section. And sabi dito, for angle section, the gauge of holes in space, the gauge for holes in opposite adjacent legs shall be the sum of the gauges from the back of the angle less the thickness. Bali, sabi dyan, gauge daw natin is G1 plus G2 minus thickness. Bali, this equation, which is stated sa NSCP natin, is only true if yung thickness ng legs na ating angle section ay equal. Pero in cases na hindi man equal si thickness, di kailangan natin kuhain si median line nitong ating channel section. Ito yung ating analyze dapat. Nasa gitna, ito yung total na length natin. Ang nangyayari kasi in design natin, na-flatten out natin si angle section natin, si channels and sa channel section para maging plate lang siya. Parang ganito, Yan, na-flatten out natin. Binuka natin siya. At yan, malilipat na si holes natin. Mali na dito na si hole 1 at si hole 2. Bali, that hole 1 and si hole 2, meron siyang gauge distance G2 at si gauge distance G1. Pero, ang pagka binuklat natin yan, mas maganda i-analyze natin is si median ng thickness natin or si average ng thickness. Bali, mapupunta lang siya doon sa magiging itong T over 1/2. Itong location nitong line na to. And T over 1/2. At considering na equal yung section yan, syempre dito, T over 1/2 din siya. Plus T over 1/2. At kapag ina-analyze natin yan, balik tayo dito sa section natin na to. Drawing ko ulit natin. Para makuha natin yung total na gauge distance. Kita ba? Parang pangit talaga ako. Drawing ko lang ulit So, may holes tayo dito. Bali, provided sa problem, si G1 natin ay from back end nung angle section, si G1. Then si G2, ganun din. But taking into account itong median line natin, si G2, kailangan natin bawasan ng T over 1/2. As well as si G1. Bali, T over 1/2. Kailangan natin isubtract yan. Bali, ang mangyayari ngayon, si gauge distance natin, itong gauge distance natin, from this point sa center, papunta dito, papareyan. Ito yung kailangan natin makuha na gauge distance. Yung G natin. Bali si G natin, yan ay si G1 minus natin si T over 2. Ano? Si G1, ito si G1, bawasan natin ng T over 2, matitira lang tong length na to. Which is G1 minus T over 2. Then add natin itong length na to. Ano? This length. At makukuha natin yan as G2 minus T over 2. G2 minus T over 2. And since equal naman si T over 1, si T over 2 natin, yung thickness natin equal, ano? We can rewrite it this way. G1 plus G2 minus T over 2 minus T over 2. And since ito, pag-combine lang natin yan, ano, that will become G1 plus G2 minus the thickness. Kaya yan yung ating formula for the equal angle sections. Equal yung thickness angle sections natin. But in case na hindi man siya magka-equal, let's just si G1 plus minus, erase natin. Bali, in case na hindi man equal yung thickness natin, G1 minus thickness 1 over 2 plus gauge 2 minus thickness 2 over 2. Ito pagka magkaiba yung ating thickness, especially sa channel section. Usually kasi for angle section, equal yung legs niyan. Pero kapag channel section at kapag eye sections yung analyze natin, magkaiba yung thickness ng web niya at flanges. Kaya kailangan natin i-apply itong concept ng median line natin to get the gauge space. Bali yung G natin na gauge, isa-substitute lang naman na natin dito sa formula natin dito. Bali, same na rin lang siya itong formula natin for the computation of the net section. Katulad sa case 2 natin, dahil ang nangyari lang naman, case 3 natin, ang net area niya is just equal to T times W. Nangyari lang naman kasi may pagbuklat pa tayo, nung ating angle section para ma-define natin yung value nung ating G. Yung G natin dito sa baba. Bali, in addition to that, itong part natin na to, si negative, ay yung minus natin na n times DE. Si n times DE, yung thickness na multiply natin dito, mamaya, magkakaiba, Bali, mas maganda niyan, for this one, times natin siya iba-iba. Bali, tingnan lang natin dito sa baba. Pag kasi yung sections natin ay rolled up na, at rolled. So, magpalit tayo ng Pagka hot rolled yung sections natin, usually given na si AG niya, si AG given na, kaya hindi na natin siya kailangan computein. Bali, alas na natin yung mga deductions natin, si NDE ay multiply natin doon sa thickness. Yung thickness na to ay kung saan nag-occur si bolt, kung saan located si bolt. Bali, possible kasi na meron tayong thickness 1 minus tayo ng N times DE under dun sa location or sa flange or flange and web natin na may different thickness, T2. Then add natin si gauge space natin. At kapag sa part yung gauge space natin ay ito katulad nito na magkaiba yung thickness, ang multiply natin na thickness for that is its average thickness. Pero depende yan ano kung may bolts kasi na, halimbawa may bolts dito, the in thickness na kailangan i-consider natin din is the thickness of this section. Pero given na meron tayo dito na um, gauge space na may magkaibang thickness, di yung average thickness ang gagamitin natin for this portion. Naintindihan yun? Bali, kung hindi naintindihan, magkakaroon tayo ng sample problem for that so that we can understand that one. And the last one nga is the case 4 natin is the hollow structural section welded to a gasket plate. And yung net area daw niya is the gross area minus the product of the thickness and the total width of the materials that is removed from or to form a slat. Bali, ito yung pag kasi nag-weld tayo, minsan nagabutas din tayo doon, para doon sa butas na yun, doon tayo lagay ng weld natin. In determining the net area across the plug or slat welds, the weld metal shall not be considered as adding to the net area. Bali, since nagbutas tayo tapos na-fill up pa naman natin ng weld metal, yung weld metal na yun ay hindi natin i-consider as additional do sa areas natin. Since that have a different property compared dun sa materials ng ating structures. Then, dito kung occurring itong na to, mga sections na yan, at halimbawa meron tayong different na AN, especially kapag may staggered sections tayo, meron tayong numerous possible ways na makakat natin sections using the staggered section. Kaya kailangan natin, pipiliin natin si lowest among the select lowest na AN natin. And that lowest na AN must be compared dito sa ating 0.85 AG. At dapat ay hindi lumagpas si AN na na-compute natin sa ating 0.85 AG. At in case na lumagpas si AN natin sa 0.85 AG, yung AN natin ay equal sa 0.85 ng AG na agad. I hope this one is clear. Bali, before we proceed, kanina may nabanggit tayo na DE pero hindi natin alam ano yung DE na yan. Bali, si DE is the effective hole diameter. Bali, sa problems, meron tayong ma-encounter na different terms. Bali, meron tayong ma-encounter na bolt, yan, bolt diameter or bolt hole or bolt hole diameter, and si effective bolt hole or si effective bolt hole diameter. Pag sinabi natin na bolt or bolt diameter, yun lamang is yung actual na size ng ating bolt. Bali, yung actual bali kung ito si bolt, yan. Ito yung bolt diameter natin. This is our bolt diameter. At si bolt hole ay yung butas na apasukan ni bolt. At para maipasok natin si bolt, dapat mas malaki ng kaunti si bolt hole natin compared kay bolt diameter. Considering na may contraction at expansion itong bolts natin. As well as, kasi pag nagbutas tayo, kahit na gusto natin ay swak na swak lamang yung butas sa size ng bolts natin, ay hindi natin siya magagawa. Considering na may errors na na-commit ng workers natin kapag ka nagabutas. As well as yung performance ng ating equipments, such as yung drills natin. Hindi natin fully ma-attain na equal si bolt hole at si bolt diameter natin. At considering na meron tayong different types ng hole dimensions, meron tayo kasing tinatawag na standard hole, oversized hole, short slat, and yung ating long slat. Then, After naman ng ating bolt hole diameter, dito na pumapasok si ating effective bolt hole diameter. Bali, itong bolt hole na to, this one, si DH natin, na-take into account pa natin nga na hindi man actually ito yung butas na makikreate natin. At meron pa tayo tinatawag na effective bolt hole diameter. At si effective bolt hole diameter daw ay 2 mm greater than do sa nominal hole dimension natin. Bali, to obtain our DE, that's DH plus 2 mm. Bali sa NSCP 2001, this is 1.6. Ano? Or pag kinonvert natin into English system na ginagamit ni Segi doon sa reference textbook natin, that's 1/8. Ano? 1/8 ba? Paminsan na 1/16, 1/8 pare. 1/16 times 2 is 1/8. Left and right kasi ano. And with this, paano natin malalaman? Bali, pag sinabi lamang sa problem natin ay bolt diameter or si size ng bolt, halimbawa ay M16, or ang sinabi ay M16 bolt, or bolt diameter nga is 16 mm. Bali, para ma-obtain natin si bolt hole diameter, di kailangan natin mag-refer sa table natin sa NSCP. At ito yung table na yan, Ito yung table 510.33, the nominal hole dimension in mm. Bali, si table na to ay makikita natin sa chapter or section 510 ng NSCP under connection. At sabi diyan, pagka M16, yan, M16, makikita natin yung hole dimensions niya. Meron tayong 18 mm pagka standard hole. Pagka oversized hole naman ay 20. Kapag short slat, that's 18 by 22. Pag long slat ay 18 by 50. Ano pala itsura yung standard hole ganito? Si oversized hole mas malaki. Si short slat, yan, mahaba. And si long slat, mas mahaba. Ito lang yung yun yung pinagkaiba ni standard, oversized, short slat, and long slat. At given na meron tayong bolt diameter nga na 16 at in standard hole daw yun, this one, ito yung ating DH. DH pa lamang. At after niya, na-identify na natin si DH, ma-identify na natin si DE by just adding 2 mm sa DH natin. Bali, 18 plus 2 mm, that's 20 mm na effective bolt hole diameter natin. Intindihan? Parang may masagutan. And, ayan, pwede rin naman natin consider, halimbawa, ito naman, pili tayo iba. Sabi sa problem ay M22. Pag M22, ito yung titingnan natin na part. But, kailangan pa natin malaman kung anong type ng holes. At pag sinabi naman na oversized hole daw ang gagamitin natin, dito natin makikita si oversized hole. Yan. At yung intersection niyan, dalawang na yan, is yung bolt hole diameter na kailangan natin. Yan, this one. Mali, DE is 28 plus 2 mm, regardless nung types ng hole natin, standard man yan, oversized, short slat, or long slat, di plus 2 mm tayo. This will become 30 mm. Yan ay kapag ang sinabi sa problem natin is si bolt diameter. Pero kapag ang sinabi ay bolt holes na agad, di sinabi ay yung bolts hole daw natin, bolt hole is 18 mm. There's no need to refer sa table na to. Ano? Kasi ang binigay na sa atin ay si bolt hole. At si bolt hole ay automatically yung DH na natin. Kaya, ang kailangan na lang natin gawin ay DE equals DH plus 2 mm, wherein yung DH natin is 18 plus 2. Ang ating effective bolt hole diameter is 20 mm. Intindihan? Ganun lang siya, ano? Madali lang naman. Bali, ang problem natin, halimbawa, hindi binigay si table. Ano? Or hindi na isama sa... bigay sana kasi hindi na isama sa pag-print. Pag may problem solving tayo. Di, mapapansin natin dito, ano? Na kapag ka 16, saan ba? Wala akong pasulat. Mapapansin natin, pag 16, 20, 22, nag-a-add lang tayo ng 2 mm. Ba't naging ganun? Nag-add lang tayo ng 2 mm in order to get itong ating hole dimension in standard hole. Then plus 4 naman tayo para dito sa ating oversized hole. And pagka yung dimension ng bolt natin is from 24 upwards, ano, mas malaki pa, yung ating standard hole ay para sa standard hole, makukumpute natin yan by just adding 3. Palito yung formula natin dito. Then, kapag ka naman tayo ay oversized hole, yan. Ilan yung in-add natin? 6 dito. 35 minus 27, di ba alam, 8 naman. 8. Then, dito ay iba-iba ba yung in-add? Ito ay 4. Ito ay 6 din pala. Then, dito ay 8. Then, 8. Bali yan, may pattern naman. Madali din naman natin na matatandaan. Pero, this must be given sa problems natin kapag ka ang binigay ay si bolt diameters lamang. Pero, para sigurado na rin tayo sa board exam, especially ang given lang naman usually doon is si standard hole natin. Pagka 16 to 22, that's plus 2. Then, for 24 to 36, that's plus 3. Then, after natin makuha si standard hole, plus pa tayo ulit ng 2 to get the effective hole diameters natin. And that's it about our hole diameter. And lastly, we have the effective net area. Bali, from dito sa computation natin na net area, considering na tinake into account na rin natin na si AN must be less than or equal sa 0.85 of AG. Yung makukuha natin with this equation, isa-substitute natin yan dito. Ito yung gagamitin natin na AN among these two. Then, kailangan natin yan i-multiply sa ating shear log factor na U para makuha natin si effective net area. And why do we have shear log factor? Bali, shear log factor occurs. Hello, good day. This is the third part of our discussion for the analysis of and design of tension members. Bali, last time, na-discuss na natin yung about sa tensions natin and the limit states na kailangan natin i-consider as well as yung determination natin ng area gross at net area natin. And for today, our topic is about effective net area. Naputol kasi yung lecture natin last time, And we can recall from the previous topics that yung AN natin must be less than or equal sa 0.85 ng ating AG. Tama? And kung alin dito yung mag-govern sa dalawa, halimbawa na mas mataas yung value ni AG kumpara sa 0.8 AN kumpara sa 0.85 ng AG, then automatically yung AN natin will become our 0.85 of AG. And kung mas mababa naman, edi si AN equals AN. At itong AN na nakuha natin using this inequality ay gagamitin natin dito sa pag-determine na ating effective net area. Sabi, the effective net area or the effective area of tension member shall be determined as follows. Our AE equals AN times U, where yung AN ay based on this inequality. But yung U natin is the shear log factor, and it shall be determined using table 504.3.1 na nandito sa baba natin. Bale, this one has a counterpart sa ating AISC. However, we will utilize itong nasa NSCP natin. Bali, halos magkamukha lang siya, iba lang yung pagkakapresent niya. And bakit tayo, ba't pa natin kailangan kumuha ng ating shear log factor? Bali, shear log factors occurs when the tension force is not transmitted simultaneously to all elements of the cross-section. And this will occur where some elements of the cross-section is not connected. Bali, let's take itong ating angle bar as an example. Bali, yung angle bar natin, meron siyang dalawang leg. Bali, this one at itong isa pang leg natin na to. At mapapansin natin na itong leg na to is not connected dito sa ating gusset plate. However, itong isa, yan, nakakonect naman siya using bolts. And since this leg is not connected sa ating gusset plate, this the area of this leg will not be exposed to same stress na may experience nitong attach natin na na leg. Marirecall kasi natin from the previous discussion na if there's a connection, unequal or not uniform yung stress na may encounter niya. At same din lang yan dito sa ating shear log factor. Since hindi siya naka-attach fully, yung mga hindi naka-attach na elements will not receive the same stress compared dun sa attached natin na elements. Bali kung i-draw o kung i-shade natin yan, parang ganito from here to there, approximate lang naman yan. Bali ito yung area na subjected lamang dun sa stress natin. Or ito yung makaka-receive ng applied load P. And the rest of the cross-section, this one, will become unstressed or will experience less stress compare to dito sa mga highlighted natin na blue na areas. At para ma-take into account natin yung ununiform stress do sa cross-sections natin, ay na-multiply natin yung ating net area by our shear log factor para ma-compute natin kung ano lang itong effective area. Bali, itong mga blue na to, itong in blue region, ito lang yung mga effective area natin. Bali, siya lang yung makontra dito sa applied load P natin. At yung ating shear log reduction factor ay makukompute natin using this formula. U equals 1 minus bar x over L, where itong x natin is the distance from the centroid of the connection to the plate of connections. Then itong L natin ay yung length nung connection natin. Ito, yung bolts. Bali, this is our L. But before we proceed in computation for our shear log reduction factor, let's go back here. Bali si shear lag daw ay nakakaapekto rin or nakakaapekto para sa bolted at sa welded connections natin. Bali kapag bolted, ito yung magiging formula natin. Si AE equals AN times AU. But if we will be talking about welded connections, ang magiging formula natin ay si AE equals AG times U. Bakit AG, ano? Kasi pag nag-weld tayo, hindi naman natin kailangan magbutas, ano? Hindi natin kailangan mag-reduce ng both holes natin. Kaya ang ginagamit natin na area dyan is yung ating area gross. Whereas dito sa ating bolted connection, kailangan natin mag-reduce from our gross area para makompute natin si net area that will receive yung loads natin, ano, na or yung siya yung magkaka-experience ng stress. And with that, let's know how to calculate for the shear lag factors natin. Bali, we have 8 cases, ano, for the shear lag factors natin. And yung makikita natin, let's take lang to, no? Si L is the length of the connection. At ito nga siya. Yan, kung gano'ng kahaba yung nakakonect using our bolts or the weld. Then, W is the plate width. Then, bar X is the connection eccentricity. And B is the overall width of the rectangular HSS members. And H is the overall height of the rectangular HSS member. But let's start dito sa ating case 1. Sa case 1 natin, all tension members were where the tension load is transmitted directly to each of the cross-sectional elements by fastener or welds. Bali sabi dito sa case 1 natin, yung entire cross-section natin is attached dun sa ating gusset plate, for example. Bali, ito yung gusset plate natin at ang element na ginamit lamang is a plate. Then yung plate natin is attached dun sa gusset plate. Therefore, yung shear lag factor natin will become 1 dahil the entire area naman will be subjected to a uniform stress. Ganun din doon sa ibang connections natin, ano. Kahit sa angle bars natin, as long as na both sides ng angle bar natin is attached dito sa plates din natin, ang shear lag factor niya will become 1. And yan, for all tension members except plates and HSS, where tension loads is transmitted to some but not all of the cross-sectional elements. Bali, hindi lahat ay naka-attach, ano, sa connections natin by the fastener or longitudinal welds. Bali, alternatively, for W, M, S, and HP, K7 may be used. Mamaya natin yan, ano. Ang magiging formula natin for U, pag hindi siya naka-attach fully, is U equals 1 minus bar X over L. At si L nga ay kung gaano kahaba yung connections natin. While yung bar X naman will be determined by getting the centroids from the plates natin. Bali, considering this one, ayan, mas malinaw dito sa part na to, ano, palakihin natin. Bali, considering this one, ano, yung plate natin, itong wide flange beam natin is wide flange section. Hindi kasi siya beam, ano, pwede kasi yung kahit anong type ng elements. Kasi si wide flange natin ay connected using two plates, ano, side by side dito sa web area natin. Mo-compute natin si bar X by this distance. Bali, si centroid ng I-beam natin ay located dito, no, sa y-axis natin. At yung bar X na kailangan natin i-consider is from the outer side nitong ating plate papunta doon sa ating y-axis. Then, kapag angle section naman, dilitin lang natin to, no? Pag angle section, yung centroid ng angle natin is located here. Madi-define naman natin yan from the table. And yung bar X is from this side of the connections natin. Then kapag ka naman tayo ay merong wide flange beam at naka-attach yung wide flange dito sa webs niya, the C bar X ay makukompute natin sa interface nitong plates and the top of our flange to the centroid of this T section. Bali, hahatiin natin si ating wide flange into a T section at kailangan natin makuha yung kanyang bar X using Varignon's theorem. Then, that will be our bar X. Then, for a channel, naka side by side, back to back, at naka-touch sa plate natin, this bar X, equal yan lang dun sa available na bar X sa tables natin. Dahil siya naman ay from this distance, sa back end lang naman ni channel, papunta sa centroid, yung bar X natin for that. At yung bar X na makukompute natin will be substituted here. Then, si L, madedetermine natin yan kung gaano kahaba yung connection. For example, yan, for the angle section natin, to si angle. At meron tayong 6 na bolts. Yan. Naka 2 layers tayo. Ito yung ating L. At yan, makikita pala natin dito, kahit naka-staggered siya, yung L ay kung ano yung pinakamahaba na length ng mga bolts natin. Then, aside from that, meron pa tayong different cases. Bali, for case 3, all tension members where the tension load is transmitted by traverse weld to some but not all of the cross-sectional elements. Bali, pag traverse weld, nandito lang siya sa likod. Ito lang yung meron. At yung, since all naman ay naka-connect, yung U natin is 1. Then, for plates where tension load is transmitted by longitudinal welds only, bali, kapag ganito naman yung ating section, this one, ito. Ito yung longitudinal kasi welds natin, then this is traverse weld. Since wala siyang traverse weld, we will use this equations. Bali, for L is greater than or equal sa 2W, yung U daw natin is 1.0. Then if 2W is greater than L, but L is greater than or equal sa 1.5W, yung U natin is 0.87 rather. Then for this case naman, ang U natin will become 0.75. Bali, dapat guided tayo ng drawings. Bali, ito rin yung drawing natin for that. Then, meron din tayong hollow structural sections. Bali, may 2 types tayo. Considering na round or cylindrical yung sections natin. Ayaw, umisod na. Hello? Naputol yung recordings natin, Bali, let's just continue yung pag-discuss nitong, computations natin for RU. Tanggalin ko lang to. Masyado lumaki. Bali, dito sa U natin, continue tayo dito sa ating hollow structural sections. At ito yung ating mga hollow structural sections. Bali, for a round hollow structural section with single concentric gusset plate, this one, we will obtain that U. Pagka siya, yung L natin, itong L, is greater than or equal sa 1.3 D, yung ating diameter of the hollow structural section natin. Yung U natin is 1.0, pero kapag si D is less than or equal sa L, but L is less than or equal, less than sa 1.3 D din, yung U natin will be computed as 1 minus bar X over L. At yung bar X natin is D divided by pi. Bali, meron din tayo for a rectangular hollow structural section with a single concentric gusset plate. Yung, and if L is greater than or equal to H, yung U natin will be computed as 1 minus bar X over L. But si bar X is obtained using this formula. B squared plus B squared plus 2BH divided by 4 times B plus H. Pagka naman meron tayong 2 gusset plates sa sides ng ating rectangular section, ito yung gagamitin natin na formula for that. Yun, 1 minus bar x over L din. At yung bar x niya naman, makukompute natin by B squared over 4B plus H. Then, we have the 7th and 8th na section for W, M, S, or HP shapes or T's cut from these shapes. If U is calculated per case 2, the larger values is permitted to be used. Bali, meron tayong 2 cases dito at pwede daw siyang 0.9, 0.85, or 0.7. Depende dun sa connections natin. At ito yung connections na yan. You may refer to this one kapag mapili tayo ng value ng ating U. And for our single angle naman, if U is calculated per case 2, the larger value is permitted to be used. At meron din tayong different cases for that can be 0.80. Yan ay kapag single line lang na 4 or more yung ating fastener. Pero kapag less than 4 or 2 to 3 yung ating fasteners na ginamit, ay 0.6 yung ating gagamitin na U. At nandito siya, naka-indicate naman yung drawing for the guidance para mas madali natin maintindihan pagka-a-apply na natin sa problem. Bali, after natin makapili ng value ng U, depende doon sa configuration ng provided na section, kung paano siya natin na-connect sa ating structure, madedefine na natin si U, and we will get our effective net area. Yan, bali net area natin multiplied by U na na-compute natin, may net area na tayo. And now, we can proceed na sa designing. Dahil may AE na tayo, pwede na natin ma-compute si PN for our tensile rupture, which is FU times AE natin. Ito kasing concern natin kaya hindi tayo makapag-proceed sa pag-compute na or makapag-design. But since we already know how to compute for the effective net area, we can proceed in calculating for the tensile rupture in net sections natin. And for the succeeding video, we will be having several sample problems na mag-compute tayo ng gross area, net area, and we will apply itong ating effective net area. Then after that, pwede na tayo mag-proceed sa designing natin. Tapos, mag-discuss din tayo ng block shear. And that ends our discussions na for the analysis natin for tension members. I hope na may naintindihan tayo sa video lecture na to kahit papaano. In this video, we will be studying the analysis and design for our tension members. And let's differentiate first analysis and design. Analysis deals with the calculation of the load capacity of a member, while design deals with the calculation of the required size of the member from the given loads. Bali here in structural analysis, we are checking if adequate ba yung capacity ng ating structures compared dun sa loads na kailangan niyang i-carry. Bali, si required load, yung required natin, must be less than or equal sa capacity ng ating structures. Mali mainly sa analysis na-check natin if adequate or sa adequacy nung ating um, ating structures kung kaya niya bang i-carry yung ating loads na ilalagay sa kanya. Bali dito sa analysis, usually, ayan, na-design na. Hindi pala siya na-design. Bali, pwede kasi natin isipin na si architect ay nag-provide ng plan at nag-specify na siya ng sizes nung ating mga structural elements. At since nag-provide na siya ng sizes to structural elements, ang kailangan na lang natin gawin as structural engineers is to analyze if yung mga sizes na pinili ni architect ay sapat para i-carry yung loads na mag-a-act dun sa ating structures. Diba? Si architects kasi pumili siya ng size depende dun sa space limitations ng building na gusto niya itayo. At tayo, check natin yun, i-prove natin kung kaya ba ni mga sizes na pinili ni architect yung loads na i-carry niya. And if in case na hindi man kaya or hindi man adequate yung selected sizes, kaya doon papasok na i-design natin, i-redesign natin yung sizes na pinili niya. Bali, based from the loadings present or that should be carried by our structures, we will identify the appropriate size to carry those given loads. Bali, yung loads natin dan, the required loads, will be computed using our different live load combination that was discussed already the last time. And from that given live load, mako-compute natin kung ano yung um, appropriate size to carry that specific loads. Bali dito rin sa ating structural analysis, given tayo usually nung cross-sectional dimension, yung mga sizes nga ng ating mga members, cross-sectional dimensions. Then given din tayo usually nung strength nung ating mga um, elements. And dito sa tension members natin, that is Fy at CFU. But dito sa structural design natin, ang kailangan natin makompute ay yung cross-section na yung given din eh. At usually, ang given dito sa design natin is the live load combinations. At load combinations rather. Load combination. And since nandiyan yung load combination, kailangan natin yung mga design loads natin. Considering dead load, the live load, and other loads natin such as wind load, seismic loads, and iba pa. As well as, sama na rin natin yung mga design moments. And ang makukuha nga natin dito is yung ating areas. Pwede rin natin isama yung ating mga strength dahil pwede tayo mag-select ng different type of steel na merong mas mataas na yield strength or the ultimate strength. But basically, dito sa mga problems na i-compute natin, areas yung ating i-design, not the strengths. Then, dito rin sa structural analysis, ang makukuha natin sagot nga dyan is the resistance, strength, and checking of adequacy. Then, kapag ka-analysis, mas specific yung solution dito. Solutions are specific. Pero dito sa design natin, this usually use iteration. Bali, after kasi natin pumili ng isang size, tas hindi siya appropriate pa doon na i-carry yung required loads natin, di magpipili tayo ng bagong size. Kaya there are different possible solutions if we are designing structural members. Then, yung parameters dito sa structural analysis natin ay usually provided, whereas dito sa ating design, meron tayong napakaraming choices at depende sa atin yun kung ano yung gugustuhin natin. Kaya mas mahirap itong design compare sa ating analysis. Now, let's proceed sa mga formulas that we'll be using in our analysis for the tension members. And basically, nag-revolve lang naman siya dito, no? Both for analysis and or design. That's PU must be less than or equal sa ating design strength or phi times phi sub t Pn, where Pn is the nominal strength natin na makukuha by Fy times Eg, considering na tensile yielding in cross section, and Pn is Fu times Ae kapag ka naman tayo ay tensile rupture in the net section. Bali, basically, yung formula natin for the Vu max is just ito nga, Pt Pn na pinalitan lang natin si Pn by its equivalent na Fy over Fy times Ag. Then para sa rupture natin, that's Phi times Pn, where Pn equals Fu times Ae. And we should take note that our resistance factor for tensile yielding is 0.9, and the resistance factor for our tensile rupture is 0.75. Then, for tensile yielding and cross section, ganun lang din naman siya, no? Si Pn natin is divided by our safety factor. But this term is just the Pn, and this term is Pn as well. Then, meron siyang safety factor for tensile yielding na 1.67, and for this, sa tensile rupture natin, that's 2.0. Bali, para mas madali, we'll just compute first for our Pn. Then, depende kung ASD or LRFD, apply lang natin yung factors na may kinalaman sa kanya para makompute natin si PU max at si PA max natin pagka ASD. Pagka sinakompute na natin si PN, di use LRFD, then pwede rin natin i-use si ASD natin. Then, compare natin kung alin yung mas mababa between the two quantities na makukompute natin. Yun yung gagovern. And that will be the one that we'll be using sa ating design. And dito naman sa ating design intention members, katulad ng sabi kanina, ang kukuhain natin dito is yung ating areas or yung dimension ng ating structural element nagka-carry ng loads. And this time, i-manipulate lang natin yung ating equation. Bali, we will equate our equation to Ag minimum since yun yung ating goal dito sa designing. Bali, the area gross minimum natin for tensile yielding is Pu divided by phi sub t Fy. Then for tensile rupture, pagka-rupture, di ba, ang kailangan kasi natin dyan is the minimum effective area natin. That's why we have this formula. Then Pu divided by phi sub t Fu. At si Ae natin can be computed using this relationship na si A mean equals sa Ae mean divided by U. Yung U is our shear log factor. Then, pagka may value na tayo ng A mean, di add lang natin ulit si holes. Then, makukompute na natin si area gross. Which itong area gross, yung basis natin, pag mag-select tayo dun sa tables natin, sa reference manuals na gagamitin natin. Then, same din lang naman yung resistance factor niyan, that's 0.9 and 0.7 kapag tensile rupture. Then, same concept din pag sa ASD. Dito lang, instead na naka-divide si ating phi sub t, yung safety factor natin is multiplied dito sa ating PA. Then, ganun din yung concept niya sa pag-compute ng area natin, Potential rupture, kailangan din natin kuhain si effective minimum areas natin and kailangan natin ay yung AG. Kasi yung AG yung kukumpitin natin or pipiliin natin from the reference manual. Di parang mag-box solve lang tayo, no? Na si net area is makukompute natin by dividing sa effective net area by the shear log factor U. Then, pag nakuha na natin si A-min, add natin yung mga holes na sinubtract natin para makuha na natin si area gross minimum natin. And once na ma-identify na natin si area gross minimum, di makukompute or masiselect na natin yung required dimension for our structural members. And to understand this clearer, we will have sample problems regarding this design and analysis natin. But basically, we will deal with analysis but mag-deal din tayo sa design. Pero konti kasi yung available problems sa design natin. But we will ensure na matututunan pa rin natin yung pag-design ng ating tension members. And that's all for this video. And in the next video, we will be solving or designing and analyze yung ating tension members. Good day. In this video, we will be discussing the other limit state that will affect the strength of our tension elements. But basically, this is about the connecting elements that we are using for our tension members. And this is under sa section 10 natin about the connection. And yung specific provisions na papag-aralan natin is under ng 510.4, which is the affected elements of members and connecting elements. And basically, ito nga ay tungkol sa other limit state na makakapekto sa ating tension members. And this section applies to elements of members at connections and connecting elements such as plate, gusset plates, angles, and brackets. But these are the other limit state that might happen sa ating tension members. But we have the net tension, which we already discussed in the previous videos. Then it might also fail due to shear out, bending, tear out, bearing, and combination. And under 510.4, we have the strength of elements in tension. And this one is just similar sa provision natin dun sa 504 na na-discuss natin itong nakaraan. Bali, the design strength VRN and allowable strength Rn over omega of the affected and connecting elements loaded in tension shall be the lower value obtained according to the limit state of tensile yielding and tensile rupture. At same lang din siya, na Rn equals Fy Ag, na meron din siyang resistance factor na 0.75 and omega na 1.67. Then for tensile rupture of connecting elements, Rn equals Fu times Ae, where yung ating Phi is 0.75 and our omega is 2.0. Then yung Ae natin is the effective net area. At for the cases ng plates natin or splice plates, yung AE natin is automatically equal sa En, which is less than or equal to 0.85 Ag. Bali, bakit naging automatic na gano'n? No? Dahil yung U naman natin for our plates ay 1.0. Kaya kahit hindi na natin siya i-multiply by U, since kung ano naman yung value ng En, yun din yung magiging EE natin. Then, aside from tension, sabi natin that the elements might also experience itong shear natin. And that is governed by this provision na 510.4.2, the strength of elements in shear. The available shear yield strength of the affected and connecting elements in shear shall be the lower value obtained according to the limit states of shear yielding and shear rupture. For shear yielding, the nominal strength natin is 0.6 FyAg, while for shear rupture of the elements, the nominal strength is 0.6 Fu times Anv. Bali, halos similar din lang siya sa tension natin na limit state. But this time, for shear yielding, yung ating yield stress and ultimate stress is multiplied by a factor of 0.6. Um, dahil sa mga researches, it was proved that only 60% of the Fy or Fu is effective if uh, the acting um, stress is shear. That's why yan, kailangan natin siyang i-reduce by this percentage. Then, yung kanyang resistance factor is 1.0 for shear yielding and our omega is 1.5. Then, for shear rupture, that's 0.75 and yung omega natin is 2.0. Then, yung ANV natin sa net area net area subjected to shear. Bali, V denotes that yung area natin must be parallel dun sa line of action ng ating force or tinatawag nga natin na shear. And combining these two, magkakaroon tayo ng block shear. Bali, simultaneously nag-fail si ating connecting plates sa ating tension and shear. That's why yan, magkakaroon tayo ng block shear failure. The block shear strength is the segment or block in connection of the member that is possible to tear out. Bali, sama-sama na nag-act yung mga bolts natin, nag-resist dun sa ating, bali, yung block na to within the bolt spaces natin will counteract yung the applied force natin. Bali, this portion, ito, is part of our connection, resist yung shear natin. Then, itong portion na to, resist yung tension force na available. And, for this case, ito yung consider natin na net area for our shear, which is subjected to shear. Bali, kailangan natin i-remove itong mga bolt holes para dun sa ENV natin. Then, dito rin sa tension, kailangan din natin i-remove yung ating bolt hole for that para makompute natin yung ANT naman. Bali, we have here muna ng finite analysis ng ating block shear failure. Bali, makikita natin hanggang mas mababa pa lamang yung applied load. Yan, halos wala pang nakikita na failure. Pero pagtaas ng ating applied load, yan, makikita na natin na unti-unti na nasa subject sa stress. Yung nakikita natin dyan, yan yung stress na na-experience ng ating element. At magtaas ng kulay or pagiging pula, di mas mataas na yung stress na na-experience ng ating element. And pagtaas ng load, di marireach niya yung ating Fy at doon magsimula na mag-fail yung ating members. Then ultimately, pag na-reach niya yung ating rupture strength or Fu, then the entire block will fail together. And matitear out na yung ating sections katulad nitong nangyari dito sa ating P6. Yan. Maghiwalay na itong portion na to at itong portion na to. And that is our block failure. Bali yan, evident din siya dito sa other finite element analysis na presented dito sa picture. Then, ano yung mga block, ano yung possible na block shear failure natin? Bali, we have different, for different types of sections. Bali, kapag meron tayong gusset plate, for example, this one, 3 layers, bali, dapat sabay-sabay na mag-fail. Lahat ng bolts kasama dun sa matatanggal na block. At ito yung one possible block shear failure natin. Bali, makakasama silang lahat ng 9 bolts. Then, aside from that, we can also see this block shear failure from here and extending all the way here. Then, mababa na siya dito. At yan, sama-sama pa rin na yung mga bolts natin. Then, similarly, pwede rin natin tingnan to. Pero kamukha lang din naman yung isa. Ito, from here naman, papunta doon sa kabila. At since we can recognize that equal lang naman yung area niyan, or yung resist ating areas natin for this two type of block shear. Di, pwedeng isa na lang i-analyze natin. Then, for this one, sa angle section naman natin, ito yung ating possible na failure. Block shear failure. And, dapat pababa siya dito, no? Dahil, mas maliit yung area na meron tayo dito. At never yung failure path natin will extend here. Pataas. Never yan ang mangyayari. Dahil, sobrang taas ng stiffness sa part na to, hindi man possible na dun mag-tear out yung ating section. Then, for this type of connection naman, sa I section natin na connected sa flange, and we can see this failure. Bali, from here, i-extend siya papunta dun, then bababa na dito. Bawal yan pumarito sa kabila, no? Bawal maging ganito yung failure path natin. Kahit nasabihin natin na dapat magkakasama si mga bolts, di ba? Pero hindi siya pwede mangyari dahil mataas yung stiffness natin dito sa interface ng web at ating flange. Bali, mali siya. Bali, ang mangyayari dyan, ito yung failure path natin. Bali, 4 na ganito. Yan. This one. Tapos dito sa baba, meron din tayo na failure path dyan. Then sa kabilang side din. Yan yung magiging block shear natin. Then for this case naman, we have a I section na connected sa kanyang web. Ang possible failure path lang natin is this one. From this, then mababa siya, pamunta doon, and babalik na doon sa dulo. And never siya na pwedeng maging ganito na mag-extend papunta doon sa ating flanges. Dahil katulad nga ng sabi natin kanina, na napakataas ng stiffness dito sa portion na to. And that area will not fail due to our block shear. Ito lang yung possible na failure path. At laging tatandaan na dapat lagi magkakasama lahat ng bolts. Kasi halimbawa, may naiwan tayo ng bolts. Ito lang yung kinonsider natin dito. Ito. Bumalik na agad tayo dyan. Yan. Bali, dito sa bolts na to, meron siyang resisting force na P over 8. Then dito may P over 8 din. So this load ay mababawasan ng ay siyang P minus P over 8 times 2. At hindi na efficient yung ating loads that will cause the failure. Bali dapat lagi magkakasama lahat ng bolts natin sa ating block shear. Di ba nabanggit na rin naman last time na mas nare-reduce yung ating efficiency kapag may hindi nasama na bolts. Then, let's go back here sa ating block shear failure. We have this formula. For the nominal block shear, may 2 case tayo. Considering na meron tayong, what do you call that? This portion is our shear yielding, shear rupture, plus our tensile rupture. Then this one is our shear yielding multiplied by our shear tensile rupture. So, kailangan lang pag-add natin dahil simultaneously nga na nag-act yung ating shear rupture and the tensile rupture as well as si shear yielding and si tensile rupture natin. Bali, between these two quantities na mako-compute natin, kung alin yung mas mababa, yun yung gagawin minimum between these two. Dahil bawal daw lumagpas itong shear rupture natin plus tensile rupture dito sa ating shear yielding plus tensile rupture. And ano ba tong mga to Bali si FU, naman given as well as si FY. Ang problem natin is si ANV, ANT at si AGV natin. Pati si UBS. Bali si ANV is the area na nag-resist ng shear force natin. I-drawing lang na balik tayo dito, Bali ito yung resist ng shear force natin. And to get the area, yung ANV natin, that's just thickness times the gross net width natin for shear. And si net width natin for shear, ito lang siya, no? Yung mga portions na to. And kailangan natin i-deduct yung mga bolt holes natin. Bali, we can see na meron tayo isang bolt hole dito. Yan. May isang bolt hole tayo again din eh. Then another bolt hole, pero this time, kalahati lang. Ano? Si gross width natin kasi for shear ay measured lang from this point to this end point. And kalahati lang siya. Then, for this specific section, yung ANV natin is thickness times WG minus 2 times minus 2.5 ng bolt hole diameter natin, effective bolt hole diameter times, ayan, wala na palang times. Palito na yung ANV natin dyan. Then for our ANT naman, bali ito yon. Ito si ANT natin, itong part na to. Ito yung ga-resist sa tension natin. And for that, that's ANT equals T times WNT. And ano si WNT? Ito yung gross na ating WGT. Yan yung si WGT natin. At kailangan natin i-subtract itong kalahati ng ating effective bolt hole diameter. That's 0.5 ng effective bolt hole diameter. And multiply lang natin yan sa thickness. Sa thickness nga, then makukuha na natin si ANT. Then si AJV natin is just the gross width, gross area subjected to shear. Bali, si gross width times the thickness, and that will give us our AGV. Then ano si UBS? Si UBS ay depende sa type ng stress na may experience nung area natin under tension. And if uniform yung stress natin, ang UBS natin is 1, while if ununiform yung tension stress, ang UBS natin is 0.5. But usually, yung UBS naman natin ay 1.0 or 1. Dahil in most cases, uniform yung tension stress natin. And we can see here in this type of connections, wherein yung ating tension stress ay uniform. Pero pag dito sa ating cope beam, makikita natin na kapag ka naka 2 or more layers yung cope beam natin, yan, yung UBS niya dito is ununiform. Triangular na yung ating stress. And with that, yung UBS natin is taken as 0.5. Pero hindi lahat ng cope beam ay 0.5. Dahil ito, cope beam din siya. Pero since single layer lamang yung ating connection, yung stress niya is considered uniform pa rin. Bali si cope beam pala, nagamit siya pagka meron tayong a-connect na beam sa ating wide flange section na almost equal yung depth niya. Sorry pa ganyan. Then, a-connect yan sa gear, sa gusset plate here. At yan, kapag ka 2 or more layers nga yung connection, the UBS is taken as 0.5. And to understand more about our block shear failure, we will have additional sample problems. We will be having sample problems about this type of failure. Then, before we end our discussion, let me introduce yung other failure na pwede ma-occur, which is the tension and shear strength of the bolts. Bali, possible kasi na mag-fail yung bolts natin kapag mas mahina yung metal natin na ginamit sa paggawa ng bolts. Bali, yan, possible na meron tayong single shear failure at double shear failure. At nandito yung mga kailangan natin consider yan. Bali, that's simply Rn equals Fn times area ng bolt. Per Fn, depende siya kung normal or tensile stress or shear stress yung mangyayari or mag-a-act doon sa ating bolts. And meron siyang mga nominal values here. Then aside from the tension and shear strength of our bolts, we can also experience failure due to the bearing strength of the holes. Ito ay kapag mahira naman yung bearing strength
nung ating metal. Bali, may different considerations tayo, but this one will be discussed na sa last topic natin, sa connections, para hindi na maghalo-halo pa. Uulitin lang naman din natin doon. And ito yung failure natin due to bearing yan. Nauuk-uk tong part na to. And yung area to be considered dyan is equal dun sa bolts natin. And that ends our discussion about our other limit states. And we will have sample problems in the next videos regarding our block shear failure. And thank you for listening.